Hello and welcome to the Sisters for Fitness Wellness Show. I'm Stephanie Gaines-Bryant. We're going to do something or talk to someone, and it's a topic I've never discussed before. In my 30 years of radio and TV, I've never had this topic on before. Today we're going to discuss essential oils, and our guest today is Jessie Taylor. She's the co-founder of the Mindfulness Center in Bethesda. Welcome, Jessie.
Thank you, Stephanie. I'm so excited to be here.
Jessie, what exactly are essential oils? We see nowadays there's so much advertisement about essential oils, stores dedicated to nothing but oils and candles and things like that. Can you tell us exactly what are essential oils?
Yeah, thank you. And it's a good question because there's a lot of misconceptions around that as well. So pure essential oils are the aromatic extracts of plants. They're essentially the plant's defense mechanisms. They help the plants to fight off pests and bacteria. And because of a lot of essential oils are derived from plants that humans can eat, like orange or lavender, they're very compatible with the human system. So we can get a lot of the same benefits out of them ourselves.
What exactly do you do or can you do with pure essential oils?
So they can be used in three different ways. They can be used aromatically, and that's what we generally think of when we talk about aromatherapy, and that's smelling them. So you could smell them directly out of the bottle, or place a drop in your hands and smell it, or diffuse them through a diffuser, for instance. And when they're used aromatically, they're being breathed actually directly into the brain. So interestingly, with the sense of smell, unlike our other senses, the sense of smell goes directly into the brain. You know, when we touch something, we're feeling it with the hands, and then the nerves interpret it and send that message to the brain. But when we smell something, it's actually going directly into the brain. So in the instance of essential oils, we have that benefit of being able to get the benefits of the essential oils actually into our brains, where it can have benefits such as mood boosting benefits and enhancing our emotional well-being. So that's one way that we can use them, is aromatically. We can also use them topically, applying them directly to our skin, as you would see in massage, for instance. And so when applied to the skin, they're also absorbed into the bloodstream. So that's why we really want to make sure that they're pure essential oils that we're talking about. And they can have soothing benefits or anti-aging benefits when applied topically, used in skincare, for instance. And then a third way that they can be used is internally. So we can actually consume them, as in putting a drop of essential oils in a glass of water. But then, of course, especially when we're talking about taking them internally, you really want to be sure that you're using a product that you know and trust and that is very pure.
Why do you think they've become so popular nowadays?
Well, first of all, they're fun. I mean, as I mentioned, they're these aromatic extracts, so they have a very strong fragrance, and so many of them smell really pleasant. So they're great. That's a great introductory way to use them, as to what aromas are pleasurable to you and smell good. But we're in this wave of interest in natural health that we're seeing these days. People are really coming back to that ancient wisdom of what we've known for thousands of years about the health benefits of essential oils. As I said, they're really mankind's first medicine. And so we're finding that modern research is proving what's been known for thousands of years, that there are numerous health benefits to be received.
Well, what type of health benefits?
Yeah, so there's a number of different health benefits that's as varied as the number of plants that we can get them from. And when we're talking about these essential oils, they have a very unique chemical compound to the different oils and the different plants. And it is that chemical compound, that chemical structure, that actually gives their benefits. So when you go back to talking about quality and purity as being really important, that's where we see that all these factors, from where they're sourced to how they're harvested and how they're distilled, as being really important factors in receiving those benefits.
So in other words, you shouldn't go to the convenience store.
Yeah, I mean, you want to do your research and know about your brand. I look for brands that I know are independent, third-party tested for quality and purity. And not all of them are. Essential oils are not a regulated industry. So you really do have to do your own research and know in that regard.
So just like all vitamins are not the same.
Exactly.
All essential oils
exactly.
are not the same.
Right.
So we know there are benefits that can help with, let's start off with mental health. Mm-hmm. What are some of the things that can help as far as mental health, enhancing your mood, things like that?
Right, and so as I was saying, how we can breathe them directly into the brain, they can affect parts of the brain that regulate our mood. And so we see essential oils such as lavender here, which are known for their de-stressing and relaxing properties. So if you'd like to smell some
Yes.
lavender, and you can just wave it back and forth under your nose.
I love lavender.
Yeah, and so this is commonly used. Most people have heard of lavender. It's used in beauty products, bath products, household products. So it's very calming and de-stressing, also can help with benefiting our rest and sleep, but it also has benefits when used topically. It can be very soothing to the skin, again has those beautifying and anti-aging properties, promoting cellular health, and can even be taken internally. Lavender, a drop of lavender as well as peppermint and lemon in a glass of water can help fight allergies.
As far as something that's energizing, what oils are associated with helping you feel more energized, more awake, more alive?
Great, good question. So that would be something like peppermint. As we have that expression, a breath of fresh air, you know.
Yes.
So peppermint is known for being very clarifying. It awakens the senses, like a breath of fresh air, promotes focus and alertness. So you can feel that sense of just awakening to a breath of fresh air.
I could eat this.
And you really can. You could put a drop in a glass of water or in your tea. Peppermint's known for having wonderful digestive benefits, very soothing to the digestive system, and also is one that can be used topically as well, although they're very concentrated, I should add. So when it comes to safety with essential oils, just knowing that they're very concentrated, very small amounts. One drop if you're using it in a glass of water can often be enough, or if applied topically, maybe using a carrier oil such as coconut oil or even olive oil if that's just what you have in your home, just to dilute them because they're so concentrated. But peppermint can be very soothing for tension, neck and shoulder tension, things like that.
So you can actually rub it on your neck and shoulders?
Yes. Yeah.
For tension?
Yeah, and that's what I do just during the day, if I'm at my computer or too long or cell phone, we get that tension in our neck and shoulder. Or I have young kids, so carrying them around a lot, I get that neck and shoulder tension. So just rubbing a little on your neck or shoulders or anywhere that you have a little tension.
Now, frankincense has always been associated with spirituality,
yes.
enhancing your spiritual mood. How does that work?
Yeah, so you might be familiar with the story of frankincense from the Bible. So it goes back to biblical times. It was said to have been given by the 3 wise men to the baby Jesus, right, along with gold and another essential oil of myrrh. So that shows us that it was considered to be as valuable as gold. And then throughout the centuries, it's been burned in Catholic ceremonies, as you mentioned. So
yes.
There's this strong spiritual association with frankincense. And frankincense can also be smelled, so it can be used aromatically. It has a wonderfully grounding effect, I find. It comes from a sap of a tree that grows in the Middle East and in Africa. And so it's very grounding, de-stressing, and spiritually uplifting. And so from these stories, we know that that's something that it's been used for thousands of years. But actually modern science and research has shown that from breathing frankincense, it can actually elicit a brainwave state in the brain that's similar to that of the meditative state or a state of deep prayer. So it's fascinating how this ancient wisdom is being shown by modern science.
I'm glad you mentioned the whole scientific research that's been done on essential oils for people who say, oh, that's just a bunch of crap. That stuff doesn't work. But there has been research done on the benefits of oils.
Absolutely, especially more and more these days. There's research coming out of major medical institutions on the use of essential oils in healthcare. So I think it's starting to make its way a little more into the mainstream as it becomes more understood in that regard.
Let's talk about physical health and things that pure essential oils can do. Let's just say if you're suffering from certain diseases, you might be a diabetic or have heart disease. What type of illnesses do pure essential oils help with?
Yeah, well, so the way that I look at it is that they're helping, like eating healthy foods, they're helping from the ground up to promote good health overall. Although unlike a food, they're very concentrated. So while you might drink peppermint tea, and people have heard of the digestive benefits of peppermint tea, you'd have to drink 28 cups of peppermint tea to get the same potency of 1 drop of peppermint oil. But you can liken it to eating healthy food. So just as we know of antioxidant benefits from healthy foods, and even foods that can help fight cancer because of their antioxidant benefits, we can see those same types of benefits, very potent antioxidants from essential oils. And because oxidative stress to our cells is something that could be really foundational to a lot of disease like cancer, then in that same way we can start to see how using essential oils as part of a healthy lifestyle and a healthy diet could really promote health from the ground up. And then in that way could have that trickle down or trickle up effect of benefiting if we're experiencing a chronic disease like heart disease, which can also be associated with stress. So reducing our stress and improving our overall health can really help with numerous chronic diseases.
What's a way that you can incorporate the oils into your everyday routine? For example, when I get up, I drink my cup of coffee, I might take my vitamins.
Yeah.
Things. How would you incorporate that?
Yeah, so there's some really fun ways you can do that. Lemon is another one that I have here today, and lemon is great for cooking with. Any of the ones that are edibles, so lavender, peppermint, lemon, great for cooking with. You could add a drop of lemon and wild orange with water, lemon juice, and honey and make a fantastic lemonade. And you're going to be getting those antioxidant properties of the lemon essential oil from drinking it in that way. You can also use lemon. It has strong germ fighting and antimicrobial properties. So you can make a household cleaner out of lemon.
Interesting.
So you can think about the things that you have in your environment when it comes to either cosmetics or home cleaning supplies, and maybe replacing them with healthier alternatives. So another blend that I have, so this isn't a single, but this is a blend that includes cinnamon and clove, orange, lemon, and eucalyptus. And this is great for fighting colds. I use it during the cold season.
That was my next question. Cold season is upon us.
Right.
What can we do to kind of strengthen the immune system?
Yeah.
Through using pure essential oils?
Great question. So one like this blend, I use daily throughout cold season, and then I up my intake a little bit if I feel something coming on. So this has very high antioxidant properties, great for boosting the immune system. It has antibacterial, antiviral properties even. You can cook with it. You could add it to your oatmeal or pumpkin pie this time of year. You can diffuse it in your home to fight germs in the air. So you can really think of ways to use them just throughout your life, whether it's what you eat, how you clean, your beauty products.
Now, you mentioned diffusing. That's another new thing. You see them in stores all the time, the diffusers.
Right.
How does that work?
So there's different kinds. Some of them use water and pass an electric current through the water, which causes it to vaporize and ionize, sending the essential oils along with the water vapor into the air. So it's similar to a humidifier that you might use in your home. And that's a great way if you just want to get a little bit of the aroma into the air. And then there's also diffusers that don't use water and they ionize the oil directly. So that would be better if you don't want to add humidity to the air. You're going to get a stronger dose of the oil into the atmosphere around you. So if you're looking for a more therapeutic dose, if you're wanting to use peppermint, for example, to benefit the respiratory system, so you really want to be breathing a lot of it, you could be diffusing peppermint with a diffuser that doesn't use water.
Is that the sticks that you put into?
No, so those are actually, a lot of the things that we use for scents around the house could be synthetically derived, air fresheners and things like that. So I would really recommend either one of those two types of diffusers that use water or that ionize the oil directly. You could do things like if you had an all-natural potpourri that you made yourself out of flower petals, and then you wanted to add a few drops of essential oils. It's not going to diffuse into the air as much, but that can be a nice way to do it as well.
So you can make your own?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's fun ways. You could make your own homemade potpourri. You could add it to, like I mentioned, when you're cooking, or even if you don't have a diffuser, a simple way could be to add a few drops to a pot of water on low heat. You want to be careful about heating them to too high of a temperature, because then you could start to break down that fragile chemical compound, and so you might still get the smell, but you're losing some of the therapeutic properties, like maybe the antiseptic properties. So if you wanted to diffuse something like that cinnamon blend to clean the air and fight germs in the air, if you heat it too much, you might lose some of those properties.
With children, how can you use the pure essential oils with children? Is it dangerous for children, or is it okay to?
Generally speaking, these are safe and non-toxic when you're talking about pure essential oils. But the rule of thumb with children is to always dilute and to wait till they're past that newborn infancy. So I use them for my kids all the time, especially lavender at bedtime, right? Helping them to fall asleep. So I'll put a few drops on their washcloth as they're taking their bath, or diffusing it in their bedroom at night.
So that's another way that you can use it, like if you want to take a soothing, relaxing bath.
Yes, that's wonderful. So lavender in the evening is great, or peppermint, or lemon or wild orange in the morning. You want to be careful. The peppermint's very strong, so really diluting the peppermint. You don't want to get that directly on any sensitive skin, but as long as you're diluting it, that's great.
And for kids, let's just say if a kid falls and cuts himself or what, are there any benefits with oils with that?
Yeah, for minor scrapes and things like that, many essential oils have antiseptic properties. So I would recommend ones like frankincense and lavender for cleansing the skin topically.
As far as skin is concerned, we see all these infomercials on having beautiful, pure skin. How can pure essential oils help with skin care?
Great question. So some of them can be used for their topical cleansing properties, things like melaleuca, which is also known as tea tree oil.
More
commonly.
okay.
Yeah. So that has a great astringent property, can help cleanse oils from the skin and fight germs. And others, as I mentioned, have these great antioxidant properties. So they're actually drawing oxygen into the cells, which promotes healthy cells. And so that promotes anti-aging benefits. So oils like frankincense and lavender would be great for moisturizing and anti-aging properties.
So actually putting on your skin in the morning or at night before you go to bed.
Right.
Things like that.
And along with the carrier oil, I really like apricot kernel oil for the skin, especially on the face. It's not too greasy. Or coconut oil is great for the skin also.
My daughter, she swears by coconut oil for everything.
Right.
For everything, whether it's skin care, you name it, hair care.
Yes, you could do another whole show on coconut oil.
Yes,
right?
yes, but hair care.
Yeah.
What can you do as far as pure essential oils?
So melaleuca, again, is great for the hair, for fighting oily hair, or for the scalp. Itchy scalp or dry scalp can all be benefited from that melaleuca. Tea tree oil is a great one.
Because I see a lot of tea tree oil in stores now, and my daughter uses that as well. For African American hair, we want to keep the oil in.
Yeah, okay.
So she finds that the tea tree oil
might be too much.
Oh, she likes it.
Oh, okay. So it's not too much. Good.
No, that in the coconut oil.
Great, yeah, well, absolutely, and you can make your own mixes at home and apply to the skin or the hair. And I'm glad you mentioned that, because we were talking about the melaleuca, the tea tree oil, can be both cleansing but at the same time moisturizing. It wasn't too much for your daughter. And I find that many essential oils are that way. They're what we call adaptogens, in that they promote balance. So you had asked earlier about some oils that might be good for stress or relaxing versus other that are good for awakening and alertness. But I don't worry, if I'm using lavender oil during my day because I'm feeling stressed at work, that it's going to make me fall asleep. Right? It'll help lower those anxiety or stress levels for me, but it stops at a place of balance, right? It doesn't go too far to making me fall asleep during the day when I need to be busy, whereas it might help me rest at night. Same thing with peppermint oil. If I'm using that during the day to help promote focus or alertness, I don't worry that if I'm breathing a little bit of that at night because I'm feeling some respiratory congestion and I want to help get that clarifying benefits of breathing peppermint, that it's going to keep me up all night. Right? If we can breathe a little better and our mind feels clear, we'll sleep well. Right? So it just brings us back to a place of balance.
I know a lot of people are out there and they're like, I'd love to use the oils, but how do I know? How do I learn about this? How did you how did you decide that, hey, I want to learn more about this? This is something I'm interested in.
It takes research and being an educated consumer. There are resources out there. There's books and texts. And I'm interested in the science, so I always look up what are these chemical compounds that make up these oils and how do they benefit us. It's part of what I do. My organization, the Mindfulness Center, we're a wellness center. I'm also a yoga and meditation instructor, so I wanted to know how I could use them both for my personal yoga and meditation practice and also for my students. There's also great research that can be found online. As I mentioned, more and more studies coming out of hospitals and major medical institutions. So reading up on the research and just being an educated consumer. And I also teach classes on essential oils as well. So finding someone that you trust that's an oil educator that you can learn from.
What have been some of the positive stories that you've heard from people as far as it being something that's beneficial for healing, something that's beneficial for mental stress? What have been those positive results that you've seen over the years?
Yeah, well, I know for my children that I've seen myself with helping them just to calm down and relax in the evening, being that little routine that we go through to help them begin to calm down and to sleep at night. I know of people who have had great benefit from drinking peppermint for digestive upset. People that commonly have that digestive upset.
And we're hearing so much more about that lately with people who have the digestive issues and people who are looking for a more holistic way to deal with those issues.
Right. So peppermint has been one that I've heard of great success for that. And also that cinnamon blend, the winter blend that I mentioned. I hear of people who are prone to catching every cold that goes by, right?
Yes.
Someone walks by and coughs and they catch it, right?
Yes.
And that person using that blend throughout the winter and managing to get through the winter with no colds. So I really think they're helping benefit our health just from the ground up.
And as we mentioned earlier in the program, not all pure essential oils are the same, so be a smart consumer.
Yes. Yeah, and there are certain brands that you can look into that use independent third-party testing. And so that's what I recommend, that you look into the brands and do your research and know how they're sourcing their oils, and harvesting them and distilling them, and what are the ingredients.
We've talked about some of the 5 most common used oils. Let's talk about some others that are not so common.
Sure. Well, a fun one that's a personal favorite of mine is myrrh. I mentioned that was also in that biblical story, and I just think it smells amazing. It has a smell to me of moist earth, like after a rainfall in the woods, if you could imagine that. And I just find it so calming and it's very earthy.
Yes.
Kind of has a smell like fresh water. And so myrrh was also mentioned as being given, in that biblical story. And some people think that perhaps myrrh was actually meant for Mary as opposed to the baby Jesus. This is one theory, because it's very beneficial for women's health. It's known to be very moisturizing for the skin, so it can help with wrinkles as well as stretch marks. So for a woman coming out of childbirth, right, that could be very beneficial. So those both beautifying, anti-aging, and skin benefits to myrrh.
And what else do we have?
So some other fun ones. Well, I don't think we've smelled wild orange, and this is just delicious. I mentioned can be used in cooking, making. I add it to homemade lemonade. You could add it to baking.
Real.
Yeah, yeah. That really smells like you just cut into an orange.
Yes, it does.
Fresh from Florida,
that
right?
smells very real, very real.
Yeah.
In wrapping up our program, we've got a few minutes left. Tell us some more about some of the different, like you just showed us, some ones that you don't see every day, some ones that you don't hear about every day.
Yeah, well, another one is cedar wood. So just like you might have heard of the use of cedar chests to protect clothing from moths, right? So cedar wood essential oil has that same benefit of deterring pests. So you could put a few drops on a washcloth in your closet. It smells like cedar, like a cedar chest.
It does.
Right?
So feel like I opened my grandma's chest.
Right. But I think perhaps smells a little more pleasant than mothballs, for instance. So
yes,
it could be
it does.
Healthier alternative to something like that. Basil is another one, has great health benefits, boosts the immune system, and great for cooking.
We know basil tastes good for cooking,
right.
But I didn't know it had some benefits as far as the immune system goes.
Yes, absolutely. Again, high in antioxidants, as many essential oils are, so you could add a few drops of that to your cooking. So if you want to smell that one, it's like you just stepped into an herb garden, right?
But it smells better to me in the oil form than...
And sometimes they do smell different, and then if you apply them topically to your skin and they kind of warm up and they mix with your own pheromones, they might smell different, or as you're cooking with them, they might start to heat up and smell different.
So in wrapping up the program, these pure essential oils can be used in so many different ways, from dealing with mental health issues, dealing with physical issues,
Right.
and the fact that it can be ingested if you're careful.
Right.
That's the
Right. Do your research.
And I didn't know what you told us earlier about the fact that you're smelling these oils, you're bringing the scent right to the brain.
Right. So even if you were only going to use them aromatically, I still think quality is really important, right? Because you're still absorbing them into the bloodstream and into the brain when you breathe them. So purity and quality is really important.
And with the testing that's been done on it, you know exactly what it does with the brain, as far as frankincense, for example, that does encourage spirituality, or it does encourage heightened mood in that area?
Yeah, well, with frankincense has high levels of sesquiterpenes, and so those are known to be able to pass the blood-brain barrier, right? Not everything can penetrate that blood-brain barrier. It's a protective barrier. But so we know with frankincense, those sesquiterpenes can actually get into the brain and affect the parts of our brain that regulate mood.
Well, I want to go home and just turn on my diffuser right now.
Yeah.
And just like
right, sit back and enjoy.
Sit back and enjoy oils. I thank you so much for joining us this morning. Can you tell us, can you just go online and we'll give the information, or your information, at the end of the show with the credits. But how do you find out more about this stuff? How do you, or where would you buy the oils? What's your recommendation?
Because as we mentioned, they can be very potent and quality really matters. I would go through someone that can help educate you on how to choose what's right for you. And so I teach on essential oils, and so through my organization, the Mindfulness Center, you can be in touch with me.
Sounds good, sounds good. We've been talking to Jessie Taylor, and she is the co-founder of the Mindfulness Center in Bethesda. We've been talking about pure essential oils, and I've just had my smell of it all.
You'll be feeling great for the rest of your day.
I'm going to be feeling great. Thank you so much for joining us. You've been watching the Sisters for Fitness Wellness Show. I'm Stephanie Gaines-Bryant. Have a great day.